Welcome to Let's Talk About Tech video series by Venionaire Capital. Today I have the pleasure to introduce Florian Wimmer, founder and CEO of Blockpit. Welcome, Florian.
Thank you for having me.
It's nice to have you here. I have a bunch of questions for you today, so hope you enjoy them. First one is, could you tell us a little bit more about crypto winter? So now it's getting darker and colder here, but I've heard it's been winter for the crypto world for about a year and a half now. So yes, could you share a little bit more about this and what is it that companies do during this period of time?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, it might be spring already if you've looked at the numbers in the last days.
All right.
So there is hope.
Okay.
Let's see. But you're right. So there's been winter for quite a long time. And obviously companies are affected by it. And there's always like this crypto companies affected tenfold. If it's positive or negative, but you always have the higher volatility, so to say. And what do companies? Well, hopefully they preserve cash. So that's the number one thing that you should focus on. It's about survival. There will be another spring. There will be another summer. We don't know how long the winter lasts, which is why we need to extend our runway. So cutting costs, tuning back a little bit on extensive marketing spend and stuff like this. Hopefully not having to let go too many people, but it's really about like keeping your cost structure as low as possible. And if you do that, then you will survive because like raising funds right now is really difficult. You don't have much to show for, right? Because the market is not too well. And so there's better times to raise funds. So let's see how we can preserve the money that we have right now to get to those times.
Thank you. You're obviously one of the leader when it comes to the crypto world. Could you share a little bit more with us about your involvement or your motivation behind Blockpit?
So the motivation, it's a big one. So we started over 6 years ago. Back then, mostly out of my personal necessity for compliant tax reporting in the crypto space. I'm in crypto since 2015, and it was quite hectic and wild time back then, and taxation wasn't really on anybody's mind. But I had an issue, and so I had to find a solution, come up with something, which was then the first software that we developed. And at the same time, they kind of developed as well this vision, right? Where can this go? And what we're really aiming to do is like setting a standard, at least for Europe, when it comes to crypto tax reporting. And we're on a good way there. We're not there yet. Maybe that ambition will grow and we're going to set our eyes on the global market. For now, it's becoming like the number one player in Europe in what we do.
It's very good to hear that we have like strong market player in Europe and not only outside of Europe also. So that's super cool to hear. And obviously, I've heard about some news and there's been also some rumors circulating around. So could you share maybe with us what is it that is new at Blockpit now?
Yeah, definitely. So you can say we strike again. Crypto winter might be a hard time for a lot of companies, but it's also a time of opportunities. And one of the big things that's happening is consolidation in the market. So competitors not surviving, potentially selling, and that's what happened. So we are buying another competitor. We bought a German contender back in 2020, which was also like a big bear market. And now we strike again. We bought a Swiss competitor named Accointing, which obviously in terms of the deal size is way larger than what we did back in 2020. And also it's even more beneficial in terms of our KPIs.
Well, that's a big milestone. I mean, congratulations to you and your team. I think this is definitely going to be something big for you. But that also leads me to my next question. When it comes to strategy, are you planning to remain into the B2B and B2C market, or are you looking to, just change your plan, diversify? What is it that you have?
So we've tried out a lot of things in this 6 years, and obviously we also kind of got our eyes on like the B2B market. I'm actually quite relieved that we didn't go too big into it yet, because in this market right now, especially B2B business is really hard. If your clients are crypto businesses, they don't have money to spend, so you're going to lose out on that revenue. We do have a few clients in B2B, but we're still very much focused on the retail side of things. What we're seeing right now becoming more and more interesting is actually the government affairs. So going into the public hand market, providing solutions for authorities in regards to the upcoming regulation, which is very much playing into our hands, to be honest. Took a little bit too long, in my opinion. So we would love to have this regulation coming sooner. But yeah, so this is the new market that's developing right now. We're in talks with multiple parties. But I'll definitely see a lot of our traction still staying in the retail B2C side. Also now with the acquisition of Accointing, who was 100% focused on retail and B2C. We just get a lot more market share. Also entrance in new markets like the UK, for example, where we just started a few days ago. So we'll see how it develops. B2B remains to be seen. We actually have a strategic investment in a company called Threefolio that very much focuses on the accounting and B2B side. So that's our play in that direction. Blockpit itself will stay focused on the retail market and on the government affairs side.
But this means, like you've just mentioned, so you just entered the UK market, and I think you're also quite active also on the US market, but that brings a lot of questions around regulations. So how does regulation or European crypto regulation, in your case, plays a role? Do you see opportunities and challenges in this field?
Definitely a lot of opportunities. I think the challenges are now lying behind us. It has been quite a challenge, like regulating a partly decentralized, borderless phenomena that we have with crypto. And what Europe is really good at is regulating. So you always say like we're the champions of regulation, which has other downsides because we're not really good at innovating. But we now set another milestones in regulation, which is the MiCA, the markets in crypto asset regulation, that the whole world is looking at and sees as a best practice example. That doesn't really affect us directly too much. But what follows now does. And the main driver for our business is the so-called DAC 8 regulation, which is this 8th amendment on like the Directive of Administrative Cooperation. And what it does mean is that starting with the 1st of January 2026, crypto asset service providers, which means like exchanges, brokers, custodians, they need to actually hand over data on their users to the authorities, meaning KYC data, tax identification numbers, but also transaction history, which now, the first time since crypto exists, gives authorities the necessary data to actually prosecute tax fraudsters. And obviously, that's good for our business because we don't see a lot of tax compliance at the moment, but that will definitely increase that.
That's super interesting to see this developing in the coming years, and I'm sure there will be even more as the market is growing. Obviously, this is still a very young industry. This leading me actually to my final question is a little bit a question about your personal opinion. So maybe without trying to give us any investment advice, that can be difficult perhaps. But could you share with us a little bit more about what is your resentment about crypto in 2024? And do you see the crypto winter coming to an end? Or what is your view on that?
So obviously everybody hopes it's coming to an end. I'm actually very optimistic. So if we take this like 4-year cycle that we've seen in crypto now for 4 cycles, it's always the year after the halving of Bitcoin where we're gonna see a new all-time high. Now we have another factor playing in, which is the stories around like an ETF, right? So getting like the financial institutions on board, billions, trillions of capital meaning to be invested, but couldn't yet access the market. We'll see how that's going to play out. And obviously also on the other side, we do have war, right? We do have a lot of problems macroeconomically, which we didn't have in the last cycles. So I wouldn't say 100% this is going to repeat. I'm still optimistic that we're going to see a new all-time high next year. Let's see. No financial advice, obviously, but anything can happen. So always stay cautious. Risk management, I think, is the biggest lecture that you can have as a crypto investor. Diversify your portfolio, dollar cost averaging, stuff like this. It's not here for no reason.
But well, thank you very much for that. Thank you for coming to the Venionaire studio and share about this great news of yours. We're very excited for you, and really, obviously, can't wait to see more. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next episode.